Hi, everybody. I'm Katie Yakel, Executive Director of AWAI, and welcome to our latest edition of Inside AWAI, Real Copywriters, Real Strategies, Real Success. And I'm thrilled to introduce you to Dave Sharp. Hi, Dave.
Hello.
So you've been a copywriter for 30 plus years, right?
Seems like it a lot less time than that, but when I added it up the other day, yeah, 30 years is about right.
Fantastic. And right now, tell us about what you're doing right now. I know you started as a freelancer, and how has the business evolved to what you're doing right now?
Well, I started out by pitching. I had taken the SEO course that AWAI has when it was first launched, and I pitched the 4 C's or the 5 C's to a contact of mine, and it turned into a nice healthy contract. And I couldn't do all the work, so I started adding people to help me with the SEO and with the copywriting, and it's grown now to an agency that specializes in manufacturing and construction B2B content marketing and SEO.
Wow. And you told me this before we started filming. I'm just blown away by the size of your agency. So can you just talk a little bit about how many writers you actually hire and work with, and the types of projects you and they work on?
Sure. Surprisingly, I only have about 6 writers, but the SEO team is much larger. I've got probably 15 SEO people, a couple of social media people, 3 graphics design people, project manager to keep everybody in line and keep everything on track. It's grown to where we have 39 full-time or 30-time regular employees, and we just added 8 more temporary contractors in Brazil to work on a special project for a client.
That's fantastic. And this is all B2B focused. What type of projects are you delivering for your client?
For our largest client, it's SEO and content. So we do a lot of page development. There's marketing materials, event materials, because they do a lot of trade shows. The SEO is very intense, so we do a lot of schema development for the page. The writers do the writing, and then we have the SEO team that does the schema and the markup and the on-page and on-site optimization. So it's digital marketing, basically digital marketing, just it's specially focused on content and the SEO. With the largest client, it's an ongoing, just an ongoing marketing strategy that's, all the little things: email marketing, graphics, infographics, social media, web pages.
Just to keep their engine going.
It's a beast that never stops getting hungry.
Which is good news for you and your agency, and for all of us, all of our writers, especially in the B2B world. The leads are king. They need to do everything to keep those leads coming in, and they need copywriters to do that for them.
Absolutely.
So you're mentioning SEO, but I also had a conversation with you about GEO. Can you talk to us about that and how that's impacting the work that you're doing and the work that clients need?
So the GEO term is still evolving out there in the industries. It's generative engine optimization. I am seeing it's kind of developing into 2 camps. One is GEO and the other one is AEO. So you have answer engine optimization. It's okay. Basically.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to interrupt you for a minute. If you could just repeat those. Generative
engine optimization.
And
answer engine optimization. So this is the idea of optimizing for AI answers, whether it's the AI overview that Google gives you, or somebody asks ChatGPT, a question and gets a response. So this new emerging field is the effort to influence AI so that you get referenced in the answers.
Just like SEO and,
Yes.
5 years ago, 10 years ago. Yeah.
We have two major sites that we've been working on for a number of years. And so we're able to track, we're able to see what's happening fairly clearly in information sites and e-commerce sites. And we're seeing about a 15% decrease in organic traffic across the board.
Right.
But after I got past the, SEO people always are living on the edge. We're always about ready to jump out the window because of something new. But I realized that 15% decrease in traffic doesn't mean that the sky is falling. There's still 85% of people are using Google's search results. So it is a big deal, but I want to say people don't go jumping out the window because AI is taking over everything, because it's not really.
No.
One of the things that we're seeing is we do have to change how we're thinking about metrics, because as a general rule, when somebody comes to your site through an AI citation, like in the AI overview that Google gives, if you click on one of the links in the sidebar, it shows up as direct traffic rather than organic traffic.
Oh.
So it's a referral.
Yeah.
So this is something new. We're trying to make some shifts in our thinking and how we represent the metrics to our clients.
Right. Because those 15% didn't disappear. They're just coming via a different door.
Right.
So you just have to make sure that.
And we're finding that we're still able to show up. Another thing that's different with AI traffic is that you cannot say we have shown up in 437 search result pages or impressions or whatever. It's more like we show up in 20 to 30% of AI searches. So it's a percentage thing because every AI answer is custom generated. And so it's just a whole interesting new ball of wax. But the key thing here is that it's not destroying traffic. Right. We're just having to change how we think about it.
And I think that's the lesson for anybody listening to us is, AI's here, obviously, and it's figuring out how to work with it for your client's benefit. And I think, obviously your agency's on the cutting edge of that, but it's all learnable, right, Dave?
Absolutely. And here's something I keep telling my writers. AI is not going to take your job.
Right.
It's changing your job. It's not going to take your job. It's changing it.
It's a tool.
We're staying right on top. We're trying to stay right on top. Obviously, we have to, because otherwise our clients will go elsewhere. But we're trying to stay on top of all this AI generated content and so on. So we created a couple of sites. One client asked us to do AI generated content. They didn't care about search traffic. It was all going to be direct traffic and referral traffic. We also created another site that was kind of our canary in a gold mine. And we do all of the optimization, normal SEO and everything. So the content wasn't bad and the content was optimized. The most recent Google update last month wiped out both of the sites. Okay. One of our canary site actually was delisted.
Oh, okay.
De-indexed. So, AI generated content is vulnerable now in ways that we didn't expect 6 months ago. Right. 6 months ago, Google was saying all we care about is if it's useful information. And that seems to be changing. They're not telling us, but it seems to be changing.
Right. And the good news for writers is it's the writers that are making it stand out, that are making it still relevant, and companies are realizing this. So I think that's
some companies are kind of slow on the uptake. They're still making those decisions that I don't think are that smart. But
it's a pendulum, and again, it's not where it was 6 months ago. It's not where it was 3 months ago, and it's not where it will be 3 months from now. Because I believe that it's just going to be more and more dependent on writers adding the critical human elements, the critical connection points, and being aware of the writer's journey, the customer's journey, and all of that. So
the thing that we just finished up a big study on this GEO thing. What do we have to do? 15% decrease in traffic is kind of a big deal for us, for our clients. So what are we going to do to fix that? And as we did our very extensive research, it turns out that all the things that you need to do to influence AI from a writer perspective, just keep doing everything you've been learning at AWAI. Learn how to do the best practices for content marketing, how to write for people, not machines.
One person, you're writing to one person.
You're writing to that one person.
Helping them solve that one problem.
It's the SEO technicians that have all the extra work for getting seen in the AI answers area. But for writers, keep doing what you've been learning.
Yes, 100%. So now that's been exciting, and I'm sure that's taken a lot of your attention and effort. But I'm wondering, what's a recent win that you'd like to share with us?
We're showing up in 20 to 30% of AI results for both of our websites, in spite of, we haven't really done a whole lot of change in our strategy yet. We're still going along with the focus with high performance content, with writing to one person, being very clear, organized in the writing and the site structure, and all the things that we've learned about SEO from starting back with Brian Clark and some of those guys that set the standards for us as writers in the early days. We just keep moving along with those things, but lo and behold, we discovered we're showing up in that 20 to 30% without making changes. So that was a big sigh of relief for us.
Yeah, that is definitely a win to celebrate. You went from freelancer and now you're an agency owner. What would you say has been the biggest surprise for you as your career has evolved, and really kind of what your life's like right now?
The biggest surprise, how easy it was.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Now maybe I should say how simple it was. It definitely wasn't easy. I've lost a lot of sleep. I've had a lot of stress. I've had to work with a lot of people and a lot of people that I could not work with. The whole business, running a business thing has been stressful, but it was just a matter of do the work, offer a really good product, a good service, follow the best practices, and it actually worked. Because as I was out there, especially in the early days, I discovered I really didn't have a whole lot of competition.
Right.
There were a lot of people who were writing. In fact, my first contract, the guy had 3 journalists on his team, but they were writing journalism. They weren't writing content marketing. So they didn't have any calls to action. They didn't have any logical flow from this piece to that piece, not like Russ Henneberry talks about passing the baton through the awareness funnel. There was none of that. They weren't bad writers. They just weren't marketers. So it was a lot easier to to get those results for the client.
To make a difference.
I thought it was. It's just a matter of following the directions. I know it sounds easier than it actually was, but
that is part of our methodology, is providing these structures and these frameworks that if you apply them, especially when you're dealing with companies that don't know them, you can have a really quick and easy, substantial difference. But you're not saying it was just an easy button and suddenly you had a career.
No, this is not a pitch for a biz op.
No.
But it was just a matter of taking the steps.
Applying what you're learning. I love that. And you know what? You're not the first person that I've heard that from, is like that they are surprised that, like, wow, once you do it, once you apply it, and knowing that most of your clients aren't in this world. They're in their world. They're building their machines or doing, creating their products and services, and they are just hungry for somebody that can do this for them. So
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic. In today's world, I find that there's more opportunities than ever. I'm more excited about what we're doing than ever. But what advice would you have for somebody who might be starting out right now?
Well, I'm going to beat the same horse that I was beating the last time we talked. Be professional.
Yes. Good.
I have to say that, I don't have time to put up with unprofessional newbies anymore. I used to like to work with brand new people that needed some mentoring and guiding. I don't have time anymore. It's easy for me because I know I've been experimenting a lot. I can do entry-level writing through AI and do it myself. But I don't like to do that any more than I have to. I like to work with people, but you have to be professional. You have to communicate. I'll tell you a real quick story. I had a freelancer contact me a year ago, and she had this wonderful email campaign laid out. She treated this like an email campaign. It looked like she had probably been through one of Guillermo's email mastery programs, because she had it laid out. Every email carried me through the next phase of the funnel. Good graphics, well written, everything. I did not have a position open at that point.
Okay.
And so I said, I responded and said, I'd like to put you in my folder for the next time I have a need. I never heard from her again.
Oh, wow.
She ghosted me. She didn't even respond to say thanks for the consideration or anything like that. So, next time I have a project, guess whose name won't be in consideration? Be professional, communicate, stay in contact. If you have problems with deadlines or you're missing a piece of information, communicate, because that's the part that differentiates you from the average beginner.
Yes.
It's that professionalism. From my perspective, I need that professionalism, the constant communication, I don't have time for drama. I don't have time for high maintenance, so I think this is pretty common in the business world.
Yes, of course. And you are a professional offering a professional service and everything that goes along with that. So just to clarify, you do work with new writers and welcome that, but as long as they are communicating properly, hitting deadlines, and being, that's.
I have one writer that started out as an intern. She's in a professional writing curriculum degree program, and she asked if she could intern with us. So she interned with us, and she was so professional that I offered her a job. She's working for us part-time while she's still in college.
Yeah.
But it's the professionalism and that's, I don't have to worry about maintenance or counseling or anything like that. I give her the job, she gets it done.
That's great. That's great. What's something that you're currently excited about, either in your career or outside your career? What's something that's lighting you up?
I'm working on a Substack project.
Oh, fun!
And so
that is where it's at these days.
I've had to do a few revisions. I'm moving more slowly than I want to, but just because of life getting in the way. But, I'm looking forward to building something that's going to be long-term. I'm not going to survive the agency game forever.
Right.
As I get older, I'm getting slower, and all these kids that are working for me, they're young enough to be my grandkids now, but building something that I can do by myself without all the crowd of people and overhead and everything. I'm really excited about the potential there.
Fantastic. Well, we're all in on Substack. We're at AWAI is actually going to be launching one very shortly. And we've had some great trainings on it. So we have this great community of writers that are growing their businesses, launching their businesses, and we're all about supporting that. So when you're ready to launch, or if we'll certainly give you a shout out.
I want to point out that I did take Brian Clark's course.
Oh, good.
So even though I'm busy with agency work, I still try to stay on top of current trainings and all of that, because it's really important. You're never done learning.
You're never done learning. Well, Dave, I think that is a good sentiment to end our conversation with. And I appreciate your time. I know how busy you are. And again, so excited for your success, proud of how far you've come and what you're accomplishing with all the skills that you've acquired now. So congratulations.
AWAI has been a big part of that. So,
well, we're happy to have you in our fold and paying it forward like you always do, and sharing insights and advice for your fellow writers. So thank you very much.
Sure.
Okay. Bye, everybody. See you next time.